Bienvenidos a otra edición de Tomando Café con Jesús Hoyos y hoy vamos a hablar de SugarCRM y nos visita Zac Sprackett, que es el CTO de SugarCRM. Zac, welcome to Tomando Café with Jesús Hoyos. That's a transition from Spanglish, Spanish to English. Drinking coffee with Jesús Hoyos. Zac, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to have a conversation with you today.
So how long have you been with Sugar? How long you been a CTO? Could you tell us a little bit, about who Zac is?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with SugarCRM for about 14 years now. So quite a long time. And I've had the opportunity to have a number of different roles over that time. So I came in initially and my role was to build out the Sugar Cloud and basically bring us into a true native cloud hosting environment. And so my responsibilities at that time were really around migrating things from the data center and sort of modernizing the application so that it was something that really made sense in a cloud native environment, and building out partnerships with Amazon. From there, I was able to move into the chief product officer role, and I held that role for a couple of years. And most recently, I've transitioned into the chief technology officer role, which I think is ultimately the role that I've been sort of looking to get into for my entire career. So I'm really excited to be doing this now.
Now that you're saying that, I'm having a flashback because I do remember writing a white paper in Spanish for you guys when you guys were making that move to the cloud.
Yes.
And people were thinking about you guys like open source, and I did a white paper and the webinar. That's way back, what does it mean to move to the cloud? And we're still talking about that, because there are still many companies that are not moving yet to the cloud.
Absolutely.
And again, we need to define what the cloud is all about, but I do remember, that was a way back ago. So definitely. So Zac, before we start talking, AI and SugarCRM, are you a coffee drinker?
I absolutely am. I've got my coffee right here, in fact, in my SugarCRM engineering mug.
Yeah, I have my coffee cup. It's my adventure cup, and I always say that I live in the wrong state. I'm in Florida because Florida, I have like 3 airports. I can travel domestically and international to Latin America quickly. But, I used to have a Jeep. Okay. This is our song in the family, looking for adventure. Na, 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 that's the song, and, mountains, biking, and mountain biking was invented in north of San Francisco, and I used to go a lot to Santa Cruz, drive all over the coast, and San Francisco, San Luis Obispo, mountain biking and, hiking with the family. And one of the things that I have here on my coffee is, here we go. It's in here in the handle, but it says, "Don't forget the duct tape." So as a good hiker, I always have duct tape with me.
Yep.
Okay. So we are driving to Mono Lake at the other side of Yosemite. Okay. And we go there, we take pictures and everything. We driving back, and we're getting ready to go, climb all the way up to Yosemite to go to the other side. And I didn't see the stop sign.
Oh no!
I ran over the stop sign. The stop sign, took away, half of the door, the mirror, everything, and I had duct tape. I bundled it together, put together. I took pictures, send it to the insurance company. Insurance company, well, you far away. Duct tape should do it. And we spent 2 weeks driving all over, the mountains up in California, with the car with duct tape all over, the door and the mirrors and everything, so that's a joke in the family, so, but this cup represents, many of the things that I have done with my family when we go on vacation.
That's great.
And again, I need coffee. So that's the whole idea.
Well,
So, Zac,
I love coffee. I live in Santa Cruz, and I actually just moved here about 3 years ago from Ottawa, Canada. So very new adventure for my wife and I. And one of the things that I really like about coffee is, because it's a social event. It's a thing that you often do with friends. For me, coffee actually introduced me to one of the very first people that I met when I got here in Santa Cruz, California. And it was a gentleman who was basically serving coffee on a coffee cart. He was doing nitro cold brew out of a coffee cart on the coast. And I would talk to him every day on my walks up and down the coast. So it was a really nice experience to kind of meet the first person that I got to know here in California because of coffee.
Yeah, I agree with you. Coffee is something very social, especially in my family. When my daughter wakes up in the morning, she says, "Don't talk to me until I have coffee," And then we sit down, we talk, and then I catch up with her, over a cup of coffee. So why, we drink coffee here, Zac. Let me try to understand what you guys are doing with AI. And a couple of years ago, you guys made the acquisition of Node AI to bring AI and as part of machine learning, deep learning, embedded in Sugar, so you can look at the time series of the history, so you can make predictions. Okay, and now recently, you guys acquired Sales AI like a couple of weeks ago as well. To do, intelligent account engagement. And also, you also have embedded generative AI, and you have Sugar Predictive. And for what I see, you guys are able, of course, generate content, marketing and sales, find answers and recommendations in your CRM system, summarize, get insight based on the data. Okay. And then be able to create, ad hoc reports and create workflows. Okay. And what I want to try to understand, of all those different technologies that you're using, what is embedded, that comes already with Sugar, what is not embedded, that is an add-on. Okay. What is something that is hybrid that I can connect, with OpenAI or Vertex or whatever the other AI platforms, your partnerships, how you connect and everything. And there's two things that I think right now, because I've been doing a lot of AI assessments within the CRM. How do we drink this coffee? And when companies, have different CRM system, a HubSpot for marketing, Sugar for sales, for example, Sendex for service, and you can pick any of those. You have different AI functionality technology, and which one is which one. Okay, and in your case, you have a unique data model. You have marketing, sales, and service, all in one, it's a customer engagement suite, okay, where you can take advantage of everything that you have with AI. You don't have to go to 20 places. So you have that in favor, and, saying that, what is your roadmap moving forward? So that's pretty much, what we would like. So my audience can understand, what are my options with Sugar CRM?
Yeah. So, that was a lot of different areas. I think it's going to take us a little bit to sort of get through all of them. But maybe I'll start with just sort of how do we think about AI and why it's important at Sugar. So, one of the things that I think is really important is the idea of, integrating AI to sort of enhance outcomes for customers, to improve sales processes, to assist people to more quickly gather and process information, to help them have guidance about what to do next. And what we're really excited about is this idea that the technology has finally gotten to a point where AI is going to change the way that people are able to actually interact with CRM at a fundamental level. Historically, if I wanted to build a report, if I wanted to know some information from CRM, I would have to go and build a report and click around and kind of understand the data model in order to get there. But we're finally at a point where technology can help users go from having a question to getting an answer to that question without having to go through all of those intermediary steps in between, right? And that's part of why I think that this technology is so important, because there's a whole lot of busy work and a whole lot of getting sidetracked that can happen in the middle for users. And obviously this is, technology that is evolving over time. It's moving pretty quickly. And, the stuff that we have today is probably not the same technology that we're going to have tomorrow. But at Sugar, our goal is to make it easy for our customers to be able to adopt that technology and see the benefits and the outcomes from that technology without having to themselves become that technology expert, right? We don't believe that our customers should have to have data scientists. They may choose to have data scientists on their team, but we definitely don't want to, make it exclusive or make our technology exclusive to customers who have those kinds of things on their side. So we're trying to apply technology in a way that customers are able to see the benefits of it and still focus on their day jobs or the things that are material to their business, allowing us to sort of help them to get to those outcomes that they're looking for.
So if I look at traditional use case, if I run, one of the AI, functionality, in your case, create a report, I don't need to know that there is an opportunity with multiple contact roles and different activities, because AI will take care of that for me. I just need to be sure to ask the proper question. However, I do need to know that I have the right data in place.
Yeah, and that's an important area for us. I mean, one of the things that we're focusing on is how do we apply this technology in a way that helps customers to actually capture the data that is happening, activity capture in the place that data is actually being created, whether that's in your email inbox, whether that's in your calendar, whether that's in your ERP system, as SalesEye is really going to help us with going forward. Being able to capture that information, turn that into really structured bits of useful knowledge, and then apply AI to help to leverage that knowledge and help people to do better jobs as a result.
Yeah. So saying that, what is then included? If I go purchase, SugarCRM out of the box, what is included in, with AI?
Yeah, so as part of our existing offerings today, there's a number of predictive use cases that are available directly in Sugar, and we've had them for a number of years in our Sell Advanced and our Sell Premier offering. We have predictive lead and opportunity scoring, which can be really useful for helping a seller or a marketer to understand, for this particular lead or for this particular opportunity, how likely are they to convert, and to identify them earlier in the process so that we can get them over into the hands of the seller in a timely fashion when it still really matters, when you can engage and actually make a difference. We've also got tools that allow customers to find similar opportunities. So, when they're working on a particular opportunity, one of the things that's really interesting is, oftentimes somebody in your business will have worked on a similar opportunity in the past, and some of those might have positive outcomes, some of those might have negative outcomes. How do you find the ones with positive outcomes so that you can then use the information that is available from how you engage with those customers in a way that gets you to those positive outcomes again in the future? Out of the box, we provide those kinds of capabilities directly to customers at no additional charge. It's included directly in the license that they pay for today.
And I know you mentioned predictive, but that's your traditional, probably a small or narrow language model using machine learning, deep learning with the data that you have within Sugar.
It is. I mean, it definitely leverages the data, the information that lives inside of Sugar. However, part of our secret sauce is a couple of different things. One, we keep all of that time series information of all of the different changes that are happening in your business. So we can understand not just how your business exists today, but also what are the steps, what are the different inputs and outputs that sort of caused your business to change over time, which is an incredibly important piece. But another piece of our secret sauce is that we take the information that exists within Sugar and we combine it with third-party data sources that helps us to sort of see around some of the corners that exist within customer data and to build better models and make better predictions on behalf of those customers.
Okay. And if I want to adapt and change and bring my own data, you know, to that, do you provide that capability, or that would be another add-on, or that would be an integration to OpenAI out there?
So in terms of bringing your own data, we obviously have a very flexible data model inside of Sugar where people can build in custom data objects. There's also a number of third-party add-ons that are available through our Sugar Outfitters marketplace that allow you to integrate with a whole bunch of different technology and sort of get that stuff inside of Sugar. So there's a number of different ways. We have a full set of REST APIs as well that people can use to push their own data into Sugar if they want to. So all of the tools that you would expect to be able to integrate with those third-party sources of data or third-party applications are there as well. But we're also focused on sort of making it easier for users to be able to integrate with all of the different tools that are part of their ecosystem. As an example, SalesEye is going to really accelerate our ability to have customers integrate directly with their ERP and pull all of the knowledge and value that sort of is hidden behind all of the data that exists in ERP and get insight into the hands of sellers, marketers, and service agents.
So now you no longer have, the analysis that you do for scoring a lead or an opportunity, looking at the opportunity, the contact roles, the activities, the emails, but now you're going to expand that into the ERP with the acquisition of Sales AI to bring that data and make sure that, that is, AI's value is part of the model so you can better do that calculation. So then, and then at that moment, then you're moving to the next level of AI.
Absolutely, yes.
So it will be a large language model looking at ERP data, which is going to be a lot of data in there, and bring that into CRM, and then you get the best of everything in there.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. We're really excited about this acquisition because it unlocks a whole different pool of data for us that previously was a little bit more challenging and would require more custom integrations. We're going to be able to instantly on day one sort of analyze all of the existing hard structured data that exists inside ERP and really pull out insights that are useful to customers. Things like, historically you've been selling brakes into this particular customer. Maybe you sell automotive parts and you've been selling brake pads into this customer, but they haven't been ordering rotors. And maybe that's an opportunity for you to go and sell them rotors, or they were historically buying a whole bunch of different SKUs from you. And maybe some of those SKUs they're not buying nearly as many of recently. And you want to be able to understand that and be alerted to those facts. We're going to be able to provide that kind of insight to customers on day one without them having to enter in any new data or anything, just based on what already exists inside of their ERP systems.
We're talking here, alerts, notifications, cross-selling opportunities.
Yes.
The things that probably you spend most of the time, many companies, export to Excel. I'm talking here reality,
Yes.
Let's not talk here about integrations and CDPs and customer 360. The reality today is that, export that, put it somewhere on AWS, put it in a Power BI, whatever reporting tool, and let's see what we have. Because that's the reality today, especially the market, that you guys are going after, the small medium market, or what I call, in Spanish, I call it pymes en crecimiento, which is the small medium market that, they're growing. They don't have, all the budget to buy everything, the integration, they don't have a large IT department, and they need, everything in one place to make decisions. And that's the way I see you guys, again, I'm coming from the Latin American perspective,
Sure.
From that point of view,
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot of customers that fit that profile. It's a big important section of our market. We do also have definitely some larger customers as well. We have customers that are really sort of in that upper end of the mid-market. That's a big focal area for us for sure as well.
Yeah, those are what I call companies that they're moving, they're
Yes.
growing, and they are not yet big enterprises, or it could be a subsidiary or a business unit, a specific brand of a larger group, but they don't have all the money, but they're growing, and they don't have the kind of resources, and something like SugarCRM with the AI, the sales integration, with the ERP to provide, using AI to provide that will help you. Yes. So, and this is, and I always see you guys are very B2B, and you still B2B, or you're getting a lot of, or you're also getting a lot of B2C companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix. Definitely our focus is on B2B. Our primary focus, when we're building and thinking about things every day, our primary focus is on
Zac,
B2B.
I think I'm losing you. Let me see. Are you back?
I can hear you just fine.
Welcome to technology.
I can hear you.
If you guys are listening to us, we're having some technical difficulties. Are you back, Zac?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I lost you. I don't know if you lost me, but we're back.
Okay.
So my question was, you guys, your main focus of what I see, you guys are mostly B2B. Are you guys, seeing B2C as well?
Yeah, definitely. We have customers in the B2C space. And the way that I think about it is these worlds are colliding anyways. On a daily basis, all of us are consumers, in our day-to-day lives. And the expectations that we have as consumers are driving our expectations, even in a B2B context. So, a lot of the tools and the ways that B2C have functioned historically are pushing their way into B2B, whether B2B vendors, want that or not, right? So we're really thinking about how to involve some of those ideas into our software and make sure that they're available for our customers as well.
Yeah, because, again, from the Latin America perspective, many companies, they're doing both B2B and B2C, and they need one CRM system to do both,
Yes.
And they need to have, different brands. They need to have, different ways to segment the data and be able, because they don't want to buy a CRM for B2B and not work from B2C. They want to be able to adapt to that. Yes. And I see that a lot with the smaller banks. I see that with, in higher education in Latam, distributors, that all of a sudden they want to, sell to consumers, and sometimes they even want to do direct to consumer. Yep. And be able to provide that. Now, talking about generative AI, that I see that you guys have what I believe is a closed pilot program that you have, and I like your approach of call me and let's see what we can do for you, versus here is AI, come and join us, and clinch, let me charge you. Yes. I see you guys with generative AI to be very, very passive. You have it, you can compose, you can find data, you can summarize it, you can create workflows and reports. But what is your approach, to start using generative AI? One, because that's the moment that you start leaving your data, combining that with other data, and then you are at the mercy of the open AIs out there, and then who knows what's going to happen. Then you have the disclaimer, it might be hallucinating the data, the data, the reply, might be not a good one for you. What is your approach, with customers, with Gen AI?
Yeah, so a couple of things, and I'll definitely jump into our approach just in a second here. But from a how we're introducing this technology, we announced this closed pilot in October of last year, and all customers had to do to become part of the pilot was basically raise their hand. And the reason that we wanted to do that was we knew that, just because there was technology out there like ChatGPT that people were really excited about, didn't mean that all of the organizations were ready to be able to adopt it, and didn't mean that everybody had figured out all of the concerns that people had from a trust and data security perspective and a compliance perspective. How do we do this in a way that is very responsible for our organizations? So we launched this closed pilot because we had use cases that were ready to go at that point in time, but we wanted to work through all of these issues with our customers and make sure that we really understood what they needed, and we were providing them an infrastructure that would allow them to take advantage of technology in a very responsible way, and that we had tools that could help them to deal with the different challenges that we knew they were going to run into. And so for us, when we were deploying the technology, we built out a stack that sort of enables it with 5 different levels. The first of those levels is this idea of grounding. We wanted to be able to take all of the information that exists around the CRM system and use that in order to prompt effectively the large language model. And we didn't want users to have to go and find it themselves and, enter it into text boxes. We view that as our responsibility as a vendor. So we built this layer that could really help to ground the prompt in the available data in order to get the best results. The next piece that was important to us is the idea of masking. So we knew that customers were concerned about the management of their information and what was being sent over to large language models. And there was initially a lot of concerns about, if I'm sending my data to a large language model, is it still my data? Is it being used in order to train that large language model? And obviously, the large language model providers have sort of evolved and started to have contracts that they can use with customers that provide some protections for this. But we wanted to provide an additional layer of security for Sugar customers that allowed them to mask out sensitive information before it's actually sent to any third party or Sugar large language models. So we built tools right from the factory that help with that process of looking through the information that's about to be sent over and masking it out so that nothing that is sent over is particularly proprietary to the customer. We also built out a proxy layer that allows us to plug in different large language models in the future. This is an evolving space, and we know that today, Amazon has great offerings, OpenAI have great offerings. There's going to be more vendors in the future, but guess what? There's also going to be customers that are going to build out their own large language models that are, inclusive of all of the information that exists within their business as well. So we wanted to build out a system that would allow us on a use case specific level to be able to choose the right large language model for that particular job, knowing that it's going to continue to evolve. And the answers today are not going to be the same answers that companies are going to have tomorrow, right? A couple other layers that we built, the idea of moderating responses. So when we send information over to a large language model, after it's all been masked out, it comes back. We need a moderation system that can look at that response that's coming back and help to flag potentially inappropriate answers. Maybe it's a toxic result, or maybe there are things that are obviously inaccurate in the summary. We talk about hallucinations in this space. We wanted to build out tools that would help customers to identify those things before they get into the hands of their users. So that moderation layer is an important piece of our solution as well. And then the final piece is the idea of detailed audit. We have customers in a whole lot of different industries. And one of the concerns that they have is, how do I know exactly what information is being used, in what circumstances, what was actually sent over to a large language model, what came back from the large language model, and how do I know whether my user viewed that thing as effective? We built audit capabilities that allow customers to essentially close the loop on that. And that helps us as a vendor to be able to build better solutions over time for our customers And it also helps our customers to ensure that they're compliant with their own, all of the different data privacy restrictions that they're subject to in the various regions that they do business as well.
Zac, I'm listening to you, and this is the first time that somebody explained to me the 3 different layers, or I'm sorry, 5 layers that you need in order to integrate, AI with CRM. Because there's hype, okay, and a lot of people are being wise to be quiet. A lot of people being wise to to let's take a close pilot approach. And pilot, I don't mean a co-pilot. I mean like let's see if it works. Let's make it happen. And I I'm still debating. Especially the last 2 layers that you mentioned. Moderation on the audit. How are you going to do that in a CRM system when you have different type of users?
Sure.
With different skill sets, different understanding of the data, different pay structures, because they're going to get paid based on the commission, and behind that is the human bias and the human intelligence that are going to make decisions based on that. And I really like that approach that you're mentioning of that moderation. And definitely that audit, because you constantly need to do that. Because let me go back to the first one, the first layer. That you need to be grounded. And I'm very sure here, grounded means, do I have the right data?
Sure. Yes.
It doesn't matter if you have 6 months or you have 2 months. Okay, but that you have the right data, that the data is accessible in your CRM system or other system, that you have the audio of the call center conversation properly tagged, that you have the PDF file that the customers are, it's uploading. Are you covering privacy or not with those documents? So I'm assuming that grounded means, let's validate that based on the use case, I do have, the proper mechanism to have, that base, to be able to do the proper prompt.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
So I do like a lot that approach, definitely. And that's, and looking here, listening and doing my research, I said, you guys, they have a closed pilot. Why? Versus come over, I have AI, mine is better than yours, and I like that approach, definitely, very pragmatic, makes sense. Now, saying that, Zac, what are some of the traditional use cases that you see that people are asking you?
Yeah, so I mean, as part of this closed pilot, one of the really interesting things has been getting to talk to customers about all of the different ways that they're interested in leveraging things like large language models inside of their business. And there's a whole bunch of different ways that people are looking to be able to make use of this technology. Everything from simple ideas like content generation, right? How do I generate content that's appropriate for a particular audience, leveraging all of the information that our business knows about that audience segment or about that particular customer, right? Are there ways that I can speed people up and be able to make those interactions a little bit more on point or on brand for that particular customer? Obviously, natural language processing. I talked a little bit about activity capture at the beginning, but how do you gather all of the different information that's happening around a business at the point that it's actually happening? Whether that's in your email or your calendar, a lot of conversations for a seller or a marketer are happening via those particular vehicles. And so how do you take that traditionally very unstructured information that's happening in those places and turn that into structured information that a CRM system can take advantage of? Well, large language models can help with that an awful lot, being able to identify particular things that are happening in an automated way that doesn't rely on what you, Jesus, and all of your coworkers are entering into a CRM system directly in a summarized, way for management, but being out there at the point of information creation and pulling that back in a way that we can make use of in order to deliver these different outcomes. Assistants are another big piece of technology that people are looking for, whether that's tools for a customer service agent to be able to more quickly resolve a case or find information from historical cases, or even better, tools that you can expose that kind of information directly to your end customers so they're able to handle some of their questions in a more self-service way. But also tools for administrators of CRM systems so that they can ask a question and automatically configure a workflow or a task assignment or build reports or any of those kinds of things that they have to do very manually today. There's so many different ways that customers are looking to apply this technology. And our goal was to build a platform that enabled them to do that effectively.
So, so let me go to the point here. Do I need, in order to do this, within SugarCRM, and let me make this assumption: I have marketing, I have sales, I have service, and I have my integration with my ERP system. All that is working. Okay, all that is working. Okay, and I have a good governance for data quality. Okay, and I have a guy who's looking at the data quality and making sure that the activity capture is through integrations or manually is there. Okay, and also I have a good integration with a call center as a service, Twilio or Genesis, and that is giving me data that is coming from digital channels and that is coming from voice as well, and that is working. This is the happy path. Okay.
You're a lucky business if you've got all of that stuff. Yep.
I know. So I do have the CRM because I want to put this in perspective, because you need to have, the house built, you need to have the first floor, the second and the third one, properly, established, so you have a really nice foundation on CRM. You have omnichannel, it's established, and you have a good data governance. Okay. If I have all that for your market, and I have all SugarCRM, do I need a CDP with AI? Do I need to integrate to a data cloud? And I know the question, it depends, but, many other vendors, I said, you need to connect to a data cloud, whatever it is. Okay. Maybe yes, maybe not. But if you have the foundation, and you have this properly put together, maybe you don't need a data cloud. Maybe it's the exception versus the rule. And the reason I'm saying this, because there's a lot of, noise out there, that, data, which you need. Okay. But out of the sudden, we're discussing data clouds and we're forgetting that we need to have a good foundation first.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying this, because of your 5 layers, especially the grounded, if you, and I tell a lot of my customers when I do, when we do consulting and do implementation as Solvis or a CX2 advisory that I do advising, to specific customers, I tell them, what is the use case, and let's find out if you have the data, if it's clean, then we can figure out what will be the model. I'm listening to your 5 layers, grounded. If I have my system is grounded, do I need all these, things out there in order for your AI to work?
Sure. Yeah. So a couple ways to sort of answer that question. One, we're designing our systems in such a way where there's a logical progression, right? We don't expect every customer to be at, let's say that what you described of that business is level 5. We don't expect that every customer is going to be at level 5 on day 1, but our goal is to help people to move through the levels in order to get to level 5 over time. We obviously allow our customers, we provide them tools that allow them to integrate with, data warehouses if they have them, with data lakes, all of those kinds of things. But a really important thing for us as a vendor is, we don't want to make it mandatory that you have to do all of those things. So we want to provide as many tools as possible that allow you to get insights and sort of achieve knowledge and direction from the data and the information that makes its way through the system without having to resort to those tools. We have some incredible analytics capabilities that allow people to understand the historical information around their forecast data, their opportunity data, their CRM data, their ERP data now. And so obviously, the more of that stuff that exists and that we're able to provide our customers, the less they're going to have to jump to those external tools. That doesn't mean we want to cut off the ability to use those tools. I mean, if they're an important part of your business, absolutely great. We want to make sure that we're enabling it. But we want to bring essentially the knowledge and the sort of cutting edge decision making based on technology to the masses, and not force people to sort of invent that stuff themselves with their own IT department.
Exactly. And again, there's cost analysis, pros and cons. Do I go directly to bring that data from the ERP to the language model, or do I go everything to a data cloud and or a CDP? But the more I hear about this and try to do my analysis, so you're telling me that I need to have the data cloud plus the CDP plus this and that. Too many points. Where's the data? Plus the rack, plus the fine tuning, plus the vector database. Plus the prompt. Wait, hold on. Where's the data?
And guess what? I'm a manufacturing provider, and my business is selling auto parts. Like that's not my core competency. That's not the thing that I want to be thinking about. I want to be thinking about, how do I take the inventory that's coming off the line and get that in the hands of my customer? How do I identify opportunities, and how do I make sure that I'm not losing ground to my competition? Those are the things that I want to be focused on as a business leader, not how do I build out an IT department that can manage a data lake, and how do I integrate my ERP system, my CRM system, my support tools, all of that kind of stuff.
So Zac, here in summary, we have another 5 minutes. You have 5 layers, okay, in your architecture for AI. Yes, you have generative AI. You can connect to others. You have your built-in AI, and you have your own data model, and you have your own capabilities. People can go to the website and look at the different pricing structures. But you guys are taking a very, pragmatic, conservative approach to truly validate, how grounded, your customers are in order to deploy AI. And based on that, I think, like you said, you eventually are going to take these companies to level 5. The happy path.
Yes,
that's your goal. And the people who are listening, from my perspective, you guys have, marketing, sales, and service all, one model. There's not integration. There's no connectivity. It's one data model. That's why you can do a lot of the stuff that you can do with AI. Okay. And because of that, the first layer of that, of being grounded, your CRM is there already in place. And then with that, then you can move to the other layers in order to do AI. That's my take for based on our conversation.
Yeah, I think so. And the final piece that I just want to make sure that your listeners hear is, yes, we've been in this closed pilot. We're absolutely at the point now where the use cases are starting to emerge from that closed pilot. So many of these things are going to be generally available inside of the next 30 days to more customers, to new customers who are coming into Sugar as well. And we'd love to have conversations with any of your listeners who are interested in what we've talked about today.
Excellent. And one more question before we go here. How about the development part of it? Be able to use AI to, and I think you had it in one of your, I think it's in the Gen AI webpage, that you can create reports, you can create flows, but how about creating, code, to expand, the functionality, help you in the DevOps process, helping the administrator, helping the developer, be able to do more no code, more low code, less code. Is that part of your architecture as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So Sugar has long been, good at low code all the way through to sort of code level integrations. But we have a surprising amount of, tooling and technology that helps people to build applications without actually having to write code inside of Sugar, and that's a big part of all of this. I think about this as a progression. It's something that we've been building to over the course of the last 20 years in our CRM applications. And all of the different layers that we've been building are sort of coming together now in a way. And we're applying the different AI technologies that are now available to sort of optimize those layers. But I wouldn't want to do this without all of those layers. I think that having them there is incredibly important. It gives customers flexibility. We believe absolutely that different customers in different markets and different industries are different, and there's special things that make their businesses unique. And it's our goal to provide them with tools that allow them to accentuate those things that make them different from their competition. Not force them into a really, really rigorous CRM process that, makes them look like exactly everybody else, but instead allow them to encode those things that make them special and unique into the data model, into how the data is actually used, so that they can really, double down on those things that make their businesses different.
Excellent, Zac. I think with this, we have, at least I have a good understanding of this. I think it makes sense. I really like the approach that you have with the 5 layers. I have now my thinking hat, like, we should be doing that more and more and more, especially with CRM. And CRM is complex. I painted a happy path, but CRM always is going to evolve because it has to do with people, and that's part of the process, So Zac, I really appreciate a lot your participation today. Any last words that you want to mention?
I mean, just thank you for the wonderful conversation. It's always great to get, out there and be able to talk about the wonderful things that the team here at SugarCRM has been working on. As I said, I'd really be interested in having conversations with any of your listeners who are interested in the kinds of things that we're talking about today. I think that we haven't done as great a job at being out there and sort of explaining why we're taking the approach that we are as I would like. And it's something that we're trying to improve, getting out there, being a little bit more visible, and having those conversations directly. So to any of your listeners who are interested in some of the great things that we're doing at Sugar, please reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you.
I know that's always been one of the complaints, from my side. That's why I reached out to you, Sarita. Thank you for making this happen. And, I know you guys from the many years, and say hi to Craig and Clint. Last time that Craig was with me doing, Craig's the CEO, he froze. He was there for like 20 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's the nature of doing podcasting and live streaming and everything. So. And I like your evolution. I follow you guys a lot in Latin America as well. I know you guys are quiet, but that's what I wanted to, reach out to you guys and thank you for, saying yes and being here. And it makes sense what you guys are doing. So I really appreciate it, Zac, for being here today.
Oh, thank you very much.
Perfect. Don't leave. Okay. So, Jesús Hoyos, tomando café. Ya saben, me pueden conseguir en cualquiera de las plataformas de podcast que están ahí fuera disponibles y estén pendientes al próximo podcast que vamos a tener a otro proveedor, que por ahí lo vamos a tener en los próximos meses discutiendo todo lo que es AI en el mundo de CRM. Zac, thank you so much. See you next time. Cuídense muchos.